Hello my dear students, what we can observe is the complementary color. Now what do you mean by complementary color? To understand about the color of the coordination compound much better, I will explain you with an example. Absorb the color from the yellow-green region and the observed color of the complex is violet color. The color of the coordination compound was explained by crystal field theory. Now we learn about the bonding in metal carbonyl. Because of the pi bond, the sigma bond becomes stronger. This was the question which was asked once for 1 mark. Hello my dear students, welcome back to the last session on the chapter coordination compounds. Today we shall learn about color of the coordination compounds as well as about the metal carbonyls and stability of the complexes. So last class we learnt about crystal field theory and magnetic property of coordination complexes. Today we learn about color in the coordination compounds. The color of the coordination compound is due to the absorption of the radiation of a particular wavelength from the visible region. What is it? That is, if I take a solution of a coordination complex, okay, and white light is passed through the solution, then this solution will absorb the radiation of a particular wavelength, or I can tell it will absorb the radiation of a particular color from the visible region. And what we can observe is the complementary color. Now what do you mean by complementary color? You can understand that by looking into the color wheel. That is, if the solution is absorbing the orange colored light or the radiations of the wavelength which is corresponding to orange light, then what we can observe is blue color. Okay, that is, blue is complementary to orange or orange is complementary to blue color. Okay, similarly, if the coordination compound is absorbing the radiation of the wavelength which is corresponding to yellow color, then we can observe violet color. Okay, similarly, if green color light is absorbed, we can observe red color, or if red color is absorbed, we can observe green color as the color of the complex. So the observed color is equal to the complementary color of the color absorbed. Okay, that is how most of the coordination compounds have a certain color. Okay, we'll understand this better with few more examples. Okay, now for example, if I have a complex in which cobalt is the metal ion, chloride is the ligand, and I have 5 amine ligand, it will absorb the wavelength of 535 nanometer, and that is corresponding to yellow colored light, and the color of the coordination entity will be violet. Okay, similarly you can see if the cobalt as the ligand changed here you have NH3, that is amine ligand and chlorido ligand. In the second complex I have amine ligand and aqua ligand. Okay, but the metal is same, it is cobalt. Now it will absorb the wavelength corresponding to 500 nanometer, that is blue green color, and the color observed or the color of the coordination compound will be red. So you can see as the ligand changed, the color absorbed and the color of the coordination compound also changed. Similarly, we have only when amine is acting as the ligand, okay, for the same metal ion, that is cobalt, blue color light is absorbed, and the coordination compound will look yellow orange. Similarly, if cyanido ligand is present, then ultraviolet light will be absorbed, that is 310 nanometer, okay, and the color of the compound will be pale yellow. Similarly, you have copper with 4-aqua acting as a ligand. It will absorb 600 nanometer light, which is red color, and the color of the complex will look blue, okay. Similarly, the last one which is there is titanium with 6 molecules of water. It will absorb blue-green color light, and the color of the coordination compound will look purple or violet color, okay. So this is some of the example where you will understand what is the color absorbed, and the complementary color will be the color of the coordination compound. Also, as the ligand changes, the color of the complex also can change. To understand about the color of the coordination compound much better, I will explain you with an example. So, if I take this particular example, hexa aqua titanium 3 ion, okay, it's a cationic complex and the color is violet color, okay. Titanium here is in +3 state and it has got only one electron in the d orbital, and that electron is present in T2G set of orbitals, okay. You can see there is one electron in T2G orbital, okay. This is in the ground state. When the light falls on this particular complex, it will absorb the light which is corresponding to yellow green region, okay. The wavelength of the light which is corresponding to yellow green region, and it will get excited, and it will jump to the higher energy. The next higher energy level which is available is Eg level. So the transition is from the lower d orbital to the higher d orbital. We call this transition as d-d transition. Within the d orbitals only you can see the transition of the electrons which is happening. So the crystal field theory attributes the color of the coordination compound to d-d transition of the electron. Now here it absorbed yellow green color light. So what color you can see is violet color, which is the complementary color for yellow green radiation or yellow green light, okay. In this example with hexa aqua titanium solution, you can see it will absorb the color from the yellow green region, and the observed color of the complex is violet color, okay. So it will absorb the radiation corresponding to yellow green region, and what is the observed color? It will be violet color, as you can see here. And this color is because of what? Because of d-d transition, which you can understand better over here. You have electron in T2G level, it absorbed a particular radiation which is corresponding to yellow green color and got excited to the Eg level. So you will get the configuration as T2G1 Eg0. This is in ground state. When the electron from T2G gets excited, it will move to Eg. So T2G it becomes 0 and Eg will get one electron. So this is called as D-D transition, which is responsible for the color of the coordination compounds. I hope you have understood. Okay. Next we will see the influence of ligand on the color of the compound. So we learned the color of the complex is because of D-D transition. Also we had learned that the change in ligand, there is change in color of the coordination compound. Some examples are there over here. Okay, if I remove water from this complex, that is if I start heating and water is removed, the complex will turn colorless. Similarly, anhydrous copper sulfate is white color, whereas if copper sulfate has water molecules, then it will be blue color. One more example is if I take nickel chloride NiCl2 and dissolve it in water, I'll get a complex NiH2O6 2 plus. Okay. For this solution, if I add a didentate ligand like ethane 1,2 diamine, okay, in 1:1 proportion, 2:1 proportion and 3:1 proportion, the color of the solution changes. We'll understand this better with the equations. See, first when I dissolved nickel chloride with water, we got the complex NiH2O6 2 plus. Okay, I have 6 water molecules acting as the ligand. For that is green color solution. Now for that, if I add ethane 1,2 diamine, okay, 1 molar volume of ethane 1,2 diamine, then you can see ethane 1,2 diamine replaces 2 water molecules. You will get NiH2O4 En 2 plus in aqueous solution and 2 molecules of water is removed. So now the color changed from green to pale blue. Now for this solution, again I will add 1 more volume of ethane 1,2 diamine ligand solution. Okay. Now what will happen? Again this molecule will replace 2 more molecules of water. You can see NiH2O2 because 2 more are removed here and En2 you will get. That is, instead of 1 ethane 1,2 diamine as ligand, now there are 2 didentate ligand, that is ethane 1,2 diamine. Okay. Now the color changed to bluish purple. Okay. Now further for that solution, if I add once again, if I add ethane 1,2 diamine solution, then it will replace the remaining 2 water molecules also and you will get NiEN3 2 plus complex, which is violet color. Okay. Here you can see first it was green color with 6 molecules of water as ligand. When 2 molecules of water were replaced, then you got pale blue color. Again when 2 molecules of water was replaced, we got light bluish purple color. When all the water molecules were replaced, it turned to violet color. This is how, as the ligand changes, the color of the complex also can change. So I hope you have understood the entire concept on color of the coordination compound. Now the color of the coordination compound was explained by crystal field theory, but there are some limitations also. What are those? That is, based on crystal field theory, we cannot explain the color of the complexes in which there is no electrons in the d orbital or the d orbital is completely filled. That is, the complexes have color but they do not have any electrons in the d orbital, or they have completely filled d orbital. So this could not be explained based on crystal field theory. Also, in CFT, we consider anionic ligands as point charges. That means anionic ligands should show greater extent of splitting. But if you observe the spectrochemical series, all the anionic ligands are observed towards the end, where they are all belonging to weak field ligands. That means they do not show a greater extent of splitting. So that is the second limitation of crystal field theory. Also, it does not account for the formation of covalent bond between the metal and the ligand. Okay, so these are some of the limitations of crystal field theory. There are some more theories which explains all of this better, but it is not there in your syllabus. So we'll go to the next topic of metal carbonyls. What are metal carbonyls? Metal carbonyls are organometallic compounds in which carbon monoxide is acting as a ligand. It is called as carbonyl ligand. Okay, there are many homoleptic complexes which is formed by most of the transition metals. That is, for example, we have tetracarbonyl nickel, pentacarbonyl iron, then we have hexacarbonyl chromium, we have decacarbonyl dimanganese and octacarbonyl dicobalt. Okay, so these are some of the metal carbonyls which is formed by transition metals, and their structures are as follows. You can see here, tetracarbonyl nickel has a tetrahedral structure, pentacarbonyl iron has trigonal bipyramidal structure, the hexacarbonyl chromium has octahedral structure, and decacarbonyl dimanganese has two square pyramidal structure which is put together, and octacarbonyl dicobalt has a structure in which there is a cobalt-cobalt bridged with carbon monoxide. That is not shown here. I shall just write for you all. We have cobalt and cobalt which has a bond in between. There is 3 carbon monoxide which is acting as a ligand. Okay, and you can see there are 8. I have written only 6 carbonyl. Now there are 2 more carbonyl which is acting as a bridge between the 2 metal ions. Okay, this structure is also right, this is also right, this is just isomers. They are 2 isomers for the same complex. Okay, so that is about the structure of some of the metal carbonyls. Now we learn about the bonding in metal carbonyls. The metal carbon bond in metal carbonyls have both the characters of pi bond and sigma bond. What is it? They have both sigma and pi characters. The bonding can be explained as follows. A sigma bond is formed when the carbonyl carbon donates a pair of electron to the vacant orbital of the metal. You can see here the carbon has a pair of electron, okay, which it will donate to the vacant, this is vacant orbital of the metal. When this is happening, it is the sigma bond which is formed. Next, a pi bond is formed when a pair of electrons from the filled metal d orbital is donated to the vacant anti-bonding pi orbitals. Okay, and such pi bond is called as back bonding, which you can see here. The metal has a pair of electron. The metal has a pair of electron in the d orbital. It's a filled d orbital. It will donate that pair of electron to the empty or the vacant anti-bonding pi star, which we call it as vacant anti-bonding orbital of the carbon, and such bond is called as pi bond. Okay, so you have a sigma bond is formed when a pair of electron, the carbon, is donating to the vacant orbital of the metal, and a pi bond is formed when the electrons are donated from the metal to the vacant anti-bonding orbital of the carbon. Okay, so there are two types of bonding. Okay, thus a synergic effect is created due to the metal to ligand bonding. What do you mean by synergic effect? Because of the sigma bond, the pi bond becomes stronger, or because of the pi bond, the sigma bond becomes stronger. This effect is called as synergic effect. Because of the synergic effect, bonding between carbonyl and the metal becomes stronger. Okay, so that is about the bonding in metal carbonyls. I hope you have understood. Next is about stability of coordination compounds. As we know earlier, the complex ions does not dissociate completely into its component parts, correct? So the stability of the complex in the solution is because of the metal ligand bonding. Okay, the stability of the complex in solution refers to degree of association between two species involved in equilibrium state. That means, which are the two species? That is metal and the ligand. Okay, so what they are telling, the stability of the complex in solution is because of the metal ligand bond, how well it is associated among themselves. The stability can be expressed quantitatively in terms of stability constant or formation constant. So stability can be expressed in terms of stability constant or formation constant. We'll understand this with an example. The metal, when it reacts with the ligand, will form a complex. For this reaction, which is at equilibrium, the stability constant can be written as beta equal to molar concentration of the product, that is Ml4, by molar concentration of the reactants raised to their appropriate powers. So I have written molar concentration of M, molar concentration of L raised to the power 4, because I have 4 in my equation. Correct? Now, greater the value of stability constant, that means higher the value of stability constant, okay, greater is the proportion of Ml4 in the solution. That means if the stability constant value is high, that means the complex will not dissociate, it will remain in the complex form, it will not form, the metal and the ligand will not dissociate. You got it? The higher the value of stability constant means that the complex will remain as it is and it will not dissociate into metal and ligand in the solution. In the solution, the metal ions will not exist freely. The metal ions are surrounded by the solvent molecules. Correct? They are surrounded by solvent molecules. Now, the ligand will compete with these solvent molecules to form the complex. and thus I can write the complex formation in stepwise. Okay, I can write the complex formation stepwise like this. Metal with ligand forms Ml. For this reaction, I can write the stability constant K1 is equal to molar concentration of Ml by molar concentration of M into L. Now for Ml, one more ligand will get added up to form Ml2. For this, stability constant can be written as K2. Same way, for Ml2, one more ligand will add up to form Ml3. For that, the stability constant can be written as Ml3 divided by Ml2 into L. Now for Ml3, one more ligand is added up, you will get Ml4, for which the stability constant K4 is equal to molar concentration of Ml4 divided by molar concentration of Ml3 into L. Now this K1, K2, K3, K4 are stepwise stability constant. Alternatively, we can write the overall stability constant like this. M plus 4L gives Ml4, for which the beta, we are writing the stability constant as beta 4 is equal to molar concentration of Ml4 divided by molar concentration of M into molar concentration of L to the power 4. Okay. Thus, the overall stability constant and stepwise stability constant can be related as follows. That is, the overall stability constant is equal to the product of stepwise stability constants. Okay, generally we can write as beta n as K1, K2, K3, K4 up to Kn. Here we have only 4 steps because metal has 4 ligands, but if there are more number of ligands, we can have many stepwise stability constants. Okay, now the reciprocal of the stability constant or the formation constant is called instability constant or dissociation constant. So if I reciprocate the stability constant, I'll get instability constant or formation constant. Okay. Next is applications of coordination compounds. We can see there are many applications. The first one is in qualitative and quantitative chemical analysis. As they can give color reactions, they are used in qualitative and quantitative analysis. The metal ions with number of ligands will give color, okay, because of which they are used for analysis. Second is they are used in estimation of hardness of water because it forms stable complexes with calcium and magnesium ions. Next, it can be used for electroplating. Articles can be electroplated with silver and gold much more smoothly and evenly from the complex solution than from the simple metal ion solutions. Okay, so electroplating is easy when we have these complexes in solution. Okay, also some important extraction processes of metals such as gold and silver make use of complex formation. You will be learning this detail in your chapter General Principles and Isolation of Elements. Okay. The next application is it can be used as catalyst. For example, in Wilkinson's catalyst, you can see it is a complex which is there. Also, it can be used in medicinal industries. Okay, we call it as chelate therapy. That is, EDTA is used for treatment of lead poisoning. Next, some of the coordination compounds like cisplatin and the related compounds inhibit the growth of tumors. So it can be used for treatment of cancer. Okay, cisplatin is used for treatment of cancer. This was the question which was asked once for 1 mark. The last application is coordination compounds are of great importance in biological system. That is, coordination compounds we can see in chlorophyll, then hemoglobin and vitamin B12. So coordination compounds are present in chlorophyll. The metal which is present there is magnesium. Okay. In hemoglobin, the coordination compound of iron is present, and in vitamin B12 you can see a compound of cobalt. Okay. That is about the applications of coordination compounds. I hope you have understood about coordination compounds. See you next class. Stay tuned, stay focused, my dear children.